Were law enforcement involved in the two meetups at all?
No.
Yeah.
Lindbergh refused to allow, he just wanted his child back. He didn't care about the prosecuting. If he got his child back, he was going to be happy. Of course, the child was long dead by then, which obviously he did not know. But no, he refused to allow the authorities to get involved. And of course, you would never be able to do that
Well, I was
these
just going to
days.
say, I mean, were law enforcement aware of what he was doing? Because if so, it does seem like they deferred, and understandably so to some extent, looking back. But I don't think that would be permitted now today.
No, clearly not. So
Did Dr. Condon testify at the trial?
he did. Interestingly, when Hauptmann got caught, he said, "No, this is not the man." But the prosecutor, a very ambitious young guy, 39-year-old guy named David Willance, who still there's a huge law firm in New Jersey bearing his name. This was a very big deal for him. He wanted to become a big Democratic Party kingpin and kingmaker, and he was going to do whatever it took. And so he ended up changing his tune. And I'm sure he was presented with a lot of evidence that showed that Hauptmann was involved, the ladder, the money, and handwriting, and so forth. So he changed his tune.
In what way? On the stand, or?
Well, he said that John is Bruno Richard Hauptmann on the stand. So he completely changed his tune. He
had previously given a statement indicating otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, so he did that, and that was Hauptmann had just been shaking his head as he's watching this. I mean, this is a nightmare. And
there's so many rules now related to out of court identifications, in court identifications, etc. So that's another interesting observation as to how the trial may have gone differently had it been held today. These evolution of these identification type of laws.
One thing, there's no electric chair and there's no death penalty in New Jersey now.
Well, that is true. That is true. Hauptmann ever give a statement?
Oh, he said, well, he proclaimed his innocence to the end.
Right. As did his wife till her death.
Well, it's very clear. I mean, I don't think he was convicted 100% on circumstantial evidence. I don't think he thought he was going to get convicted. Mm-hmm. And so then he would have had, if he had then confessed to having been involved in this thing, then he would have had to tell his wife, "I've been lying to you all along." He would have then lost the support of the German American community, which had supported him greatly. They would have thought he was a rat. And then, but he was also very concerned about his family name and his name of he had his own toddler son at the time, who was born in 1933, the year after the kidnapping. And he wanted his son to believe that he had been unfairly, unjustly convicted, wrongfully convicted. And for the rest of her life, Anna Hauptmann tried to clear his name with no great success. But this was what was told to this Manfred Hauptmann all his life.
Trial of the century. Wow. Well, thank you so much, Robert, for sharing what led you to this fascinating story and the research that you uncovered. It's I, as I shared with you before we started recording, just became interested in this because I am a former prosecutor, current criminal defense attorney in New Jersey, and wanted to do a series on this podcast, New Jersey Criminal Podcast, about the most famous case in New Jersey, the trial of the century that happened right here. And so I'm just kind of scratching the tip of the iceberg here in my, education on this case, and had a general idea of how I wanted to go about learning about it. And I thought the best way to do it would be to speak with the experts. And so I'm just so grateful for you, for sharing the story. I would encourage my listeners to read Cemetery John, the undiscovered mastermind of the Lindbergh kidnapping. And Robert, you are just so well known and well respected on this topic, and I'm honored that you took so much time to walk us through your story, and more importantly, the story of the kidnapping and murder of Charles Lindbergh's child.
Well,